So, I know you guys are heading into that esport thing soon, and I noticed that people are a little hesitant on stuff like this. So, I had an idea,
Hesitant in what way? Like
um,
signing up or
as a
joining at
team,
all?
the franchise part, like
Okay.
having their own team. And so, I was thinking there could be a good way to advertise it, which would be once you guys get through like the preliminary stuff, like the division stuff, and start heading into like the actual tournament or the playoffs or whatever.
Sure.
Um, you could hire broadcasters, and in the arcade, no offense to your arcade, but the overlay of the score and stuff is a little flimsy, right?
Yeah.
So Gulag Enterprises can provide a service where we have our own overlay and our own broadcasting service, and we could broadcast and commentate the playoffs in its entirety.
Yeah, I was actually talking with I don't remember who the fuck I talked to. I just know it was someone from GG. I know you guys showed interest in like shoutcasting it. I actually don't know what the fuck you guys wanted to do. I just know you wanted to be involved. And I told Marlo, with this shit, the main thing I want is I just want to include Gulag Gang in some capacity. Uh, I think Zakid mentioned that. Oh no, I asked Zakid if he knew anyone in Gulag that wanted to like shoutcast it or something or do something with that.
We'd all be interested, and then I could also work on like that overlay thing. It might not be. It's theoretically possible. I just need to make sure it works. So I would need to be in the arcade a lot and like work on like a system that would be able to update the score and stuff on its own overlay instead of the one that shows. Because from a viewer standpoint, I imagine it would be nicer to see from something better than just that little box you see in like your little bottom, whatever.
Yeah, well, like I agree. So I don't know what the fuck we're gonna do with that specifically, to be honest, because I don't know how people are gonna spectate it, right? Because we have a spectate mode, but I'm gonna have to get that shit changed because unfortunately, when you're spectating, you can talk to the players, right?
Right.
And I'm not even going to entertain the idea that someone's not gonna try to be funny and open their mouth and try to fuck with the players. So, I mean, in the perfect world, right? We could have a spectate slot, and everyone would be able to watch the person spectating. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, fuck. I think the best way to do it would be, again, I don't know. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I do think the best way it could work is if we could get it working. Uh, let's say, for example, you have the overlay, right?
Right.
And you're shoutcasting it. We could put your POV up on the screen, and everyone could watch that. You know what I mean?
Yes, that makes sense. Um, what about what do you think about people that enter the playoffs or make it to the playoffs must attach a GoPro to them?
Uh, I mean, I don't know how the GoPros work, to be honest.
What do you mean?
You mean like open their eyes?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I would say yeah. I would say I would say probably yes, just because like we don't know if they brought their own fucking USB stick full of cheats into there, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's almost necessary because obviously spectating can be good, but we can't see what they might see. So you can't really detect everything and be able to monitor everything properly. Um,
Yeah, I was
just
thinking
through
of this
spectating.
too. Like again, yeah, I was thinking of this because even if people aren't cheating, I don't want people to like, be playing on fucking Minecraft graphics and shit like that.
Yeah,
So I think that's a good idea. It probably will be required. I'm sure there could be some. exceptions, just depending on how it goes. But I would say for the most part, if you're, Randy Random that no one's ever seen and you're just dominating, we're gonna literally check him PC, not normally. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Another thing that Marlo talked about was the fact that during the games, at least for the divisions like Eastern, Western, whatever, um, people would have to make their own schedule and make the games work so they could advance. I think if we want to be able to shoutcast and actually be able to host it properly and retain people noticing it, you would need to actually make a schedule, like a time schedule for the playoffs. Otherwise, like, what if people are doing it at 1 in the morning and we can't show up, or
Yeah. So the plan is to have a set time, and anyone that is competing should not have trouble getting into the city, right?
Okay.
So there shouldn't be any lulls in that. The only reason someone shouldn't be able to show up is if they couldn't like actually even get on the chain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with that too. I think right now my biggest thing with this whole shit to begin with is I don't know how to enforce a decent rule set, right? Because I don't know if you've ever played those games before, but in my opinion, okay, there is the correct way to play, which is boring as fuck, and then just any other way after that. And what I mean by that is I don't know how to stop people from basically right hand peeking a wall, right? Because
I think that's inevitable.
there's rarely and ever an incentive to not do that, right?
Right.
Because I'm not going to entertain this idea that people shouldn't be competitive, because they should, because there's money on the line, and it is in a competitive setting, right? So if there's $6 million on the line and the difference between you winning and losing is you holding a corner, I'm not going to fault someone for that, but I'm also not going to it is lame.
Yeah, but uh, I don't think you can really stop it.
I don't either. And the only way I've thought to stop it is there's two options, right? At least in my opinion, that I've thought of. One, I don't know if anyone wants to do it. And even if someone would want to do it, I don't know if there are really people that are super unbiased. But, you know, maybe we have someone spectating that is a referee in a sense. And if someone is literally camping, third fucking, right hand peeking a wall, the referee goes, hey, fucking move or you're DQ'd, right?
Right.
But that would be hard to be consistent with because, one, I don't think many people are super unbiased, and two, I don't think people would be able to be on top of it. So there would be a world where a team lost because one referee was super, you know, on the ass of one team saying move or you're DQ'd, but was leaning on the other just because they were busy with the other team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then the second option, which is more likely, is we just add heals to the game, right? So maybe people will feel less inclined to have to hold an angle because they're low.
Wait, what does that mean? Heals?
Like right now, there's no way to heal in the game other than
Like
dying.
okay.
So again, the main reason people do that right hand peek is
I
they're
was talking
low,
about
right?
shoes.
And the only realistic way that they can get a kill or, not just fucking die is to do that right hand peek, right? So if they could heal, then, maybe realistically they would be more confident to run and gun, you know?
What about
Run and run
like
and gun, maybe take a few shots, you didn't die, good, hide, heal, do it again, right?
what about siphon?
Uh, I wanted to do Siphon. I'm unsure if it's possible to do, but Siphon's what I wanted to do to begin with because it seems like the best of both worlds because with healing, people might just camp harder, for example.
Yeah.
But I think the dev that was working with me said Siphon might not be able to happen.
Okay. So,
But I can contact him again. I think he is busy though.
okay.
Unsure.
Okay.
And then the third thing that sucks is the maps just aren't all that great. And to make the maps competitively viable, you have to like edit it yourself, right? And I don't know if we can do that yet.